when I gain,
you want to ask if you can share this video?
if I may, but if
everything except that last little bit, because I actually mentioned my friend's name.
Oh, for sure.
So had I not done that, I would
Yeah.
have gone the whole way.
Yeah.
And you can dial back everything from that question because I talk about my business, my partner and all that.
Yeah. So cut that part out.
Yeah, probably would never become anything.
Absolutely.
But we're building a startup company, and I'd rather not risk the 0.001% chance that somehow someone gets the wrong opinion.
And he would not agree with
Oh, I see.
most of our opinions on these topics.
So I think question 17
Yeah.
go all the way.
Yeah.
I think question 16 maybe if you don't share that,
I'll cut that
then
whole
I
thing
think
off.
that's fair and even.
Okay, I'm happy to honor that.
Cool, thank you.
My pleasure. And this is a hearty yes from you guys, though. Because again, like going on the internet is not everyone's jam.
It's all good.
I'm shaking your hand on camera.
I appreciate that.
appreciate
My
it.
pleasure. I appreciate you
Very
guys
nice to meet
too.
you.
Likewise. It was a lot of fun.
I hope you have a great evening.
I hope you're our ride home, but I also hope you're in bed by then. You have 3 kids. Don't
Go to bed.
You guys are sweet. Appreciate you guys.
Cheers, man. Have a great evening.
I will. Thank you.
Keep doing your thing. Drive safe.
Enjoy. I enjoyed it as well. It's worthwhile. My pleasure.
I'm a huge bow tie guy too.
Are you?
Yeah.
I tie these out of neckties.
Pardon?
This is a necktie.
I was gonna say it's bigger. I have proper ones, but I know how to tie them myself. So
Me too. I like these.
it's good.
Thank you.
Cheers, man.
See you, brother. Hi, how's it going?
Good. How are you doing?
I'm well, thank you.
So we had 2 little kids in there that we had to say goodbye to. And it's
I know how that is. I know how that is.
Oh, thank you.
You're welcome.
Amy, for you?
Thank you so
yes,
much.
my dear. Come on in. Welcome
Thank you.
aboard.
This is a service.
So I can guess which of the two of you is not Amy.
That's me.
Well,
I'm Scott.
Scott, nice to meet you.
too.
Scott and Amy. My name is Biniam.
Nice to meet you.
How old are your littles?
Just turned 2
Yep.
and 5 months.
So let me just congratulate you on getting away from parent duties for a bit, though. Seriously, that's a big deal.
Amy's folks are there, so
Oh, lovely. Okay.
we're off to a concert.
Which?
Do you have kids?
I have 3.
3.
Please use your
I
I
have-
assumed as much the way you asked. So.
Oh, mine are 13, 11, and 10.
Oh my goodness.
So you're through the battle we have, and you're fighting a completely different battle.
It's a different season, to be certain. No, it's a big deal when I see parents, especially the moms, if I may acknowledge, just stepping away from mom duties, because that's not an easy proposal.
Very fair statement.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah, so that's where the acknowledgement was like, nicely done.
Hey, there's the dog people again.
Yeah. They must live around here.
Yeah, so the people we just drove by,
Yes.
we've run into the park multiple times, and our 2-year-old loves feeding their dogs
Oh.
snaps. Their dog will just snap them off. He thinks they eat them.
It'd
Probably don't, but he loves their dogs, and they kind of know who he is now. So
be amazing if the dogs are doing that to entertain your kids.
Right?
You're like, that's amazing. So how's the sleep quotient?
It's.
unreal.
I hate talking about it.
Ah.
I shouldn't say that.
They both
Yeah, no, I
sleep
hear you
the
though.
They sleep.
same. Actually,
Do they now?
at most, the 5-month-old wakes up once a night. Like last night, we were
wow.
going down around 11.
Yeah.
Woke up for 5 minutes to have
Feed, slept until 7.
Yeah.
Wow.
Every time I say it, I'm like, one step closer to you.
Oh, I see. So like, don't talk about it because that will kind of like jinx
I
it.
don't know. I think he's good.
That's amazing though.
2-year-old.
Yeah.
He's a bit of a battle to get down. You know, light on, one more book. One,
Yeah.
like, you know, you
Yeah,
can
yeah,
still
of
take,
course.
but once he's out,
Yeah.
he's good till 6 or 7 a.m.
Yeah.
He's had a couple random like wake ups in the night, feels like a nightmare.
Yeah.
But go in, see him.
Yeah.
5 minutes, 10 minutes in your arms, and back down, back in the crib. So we recognize that is not everybody's experience.
True.
Do you have girls or boys?
So my son is in between his 2 sisters. Yeah.
He's fighting out, man, fighting out.
It's interesting the dynamic of their personalities. So the oldest one definitely has that older sort of mantle that they, the responsibility that you gotta carry. So they're not as engaged with the activities as the younger 2.
Yeah.
Younger 2 fight like cats and dogs, but they always play together. Like it's just it's interesting.
Classic sibling.
13
Absolutely.
trying to line up. Okay, well, like,
Yeah.
what was I like in grade 8? That, like, think about
She's just trying to figure out, am I
life.
an adult? Am I,
Oh, yeah. No, I think also my favorite, I've worked with kids for years, like years. And so,
did you?
oh yes. And so one of those capacities is, and I've just worked with the whole age gamut as well, with lots of, it's been a blast. However, there's different ways of connecting communication-wise with all these
Oh, yeah,
different age
different
subsets.
Yeah, for sure.
And so that's really been an asset for me, I feel. For example, like just before you guys, I had a car full of 15-year-olds
Oh my
that I
god.
picked up, and it was like nice, good, long 25-minute ride. Now, someone asked me once upon a time, like, which of all the ages that I've taught was the most challenging? And I said, definitely the teenagers. And they asked, which one did you enjoy the most? And I said, there's two of them particularly that impacted me. Number one, working with like the preschoolers, the toddlers, kindergartners, grade ones. They're the ones that, to connect with, I had to actually convince that I was a bigger goofball or silly person
Yeah.
than they were,
Yeah.
and that was like my secret to their heart. Like, and I would always have the debrief with the parents saying, just so you know, I'm gonna win your kids' hearts, but I need you to know why I'm winning their kids' hearts. There's an agenda here, and so like I'd like to collaborate with you, and so it was really neat. So that aspect has impacted me in one of the most significant ways, aside from my mom and who I am. So that kidness, that silliness, that goofiness, I've been able to take into my grown-up interactions as well too, which is a blast. So that's one. But the second challenging one was the teenagers, because with the teenagers, I don't know, they to earn the rights to be listened to by them, to earn the space to engage with them.
Definitely.
It was worthwhile. And so like with this vehicle filled with like 15-year-olds, we had like an amazing conversation, the kind that I'm like remembering what it was like once upon a time. And then I think of my 13-year-old who's just like a couple years shy of them too, but it was just really heartening to know that they're still in this space where they're accessible, for example.
Yeah. Because they do shut down. Not completely, but they try to around that age.
Yeah, and I think part of it has to do with their intuitiveness of nuancing micro communiques, that they're like, okay, we're not being taken seriously for what we're bringing to the table. We're not, like, they're seeing things right. I would almost say, like, by the time they're teenagers, they're already baby adults. And I mean, if our aim as parents, in my perspective, is to raise our kids to eventually become independent and, like, functioning on their own kind of thing, this is like a really significant season, and yet I don't know if they feel that extension of being taken seriously that way. Welcome to the big kids table while you're learning on the go, basically.
That's a really interesting perspective.
Yeah. No, that's so true.
I was curious to hear what you were going to say. So my mom was a teacher for her whole career.
Listening.
And mostly primary, predominantly kindergarten.
Yeah.
And that has its pros and cons, like
Sure.
any grade.
Sure.
But there's all the challenges that come with the little kids and
Of
the
course.
parents versus
Yeah.
as you get older.
Yeah.
And she was also a substitute. I'm the youngest of three, so she
Okay.
was a teacher.
Yeah.
Took a number of years off, and
Yeah.
then went back to substituting before she was full time. So when you're substituting,
Yeah.
you're teaching
Everything.
everything that you can,
Yeah.
effectively.
Exactly.
And then she went back to kindergarten for a long time, and
Yeah.
then to round out her career.
Yeah.
And I'm from a small town, so
Yeah.
you kind of, are you grade 4 this year? 4, 5, grade 5? Like, but she was doing mostly grade 4.
Yeah.
And she didn't like the older kids, like older than grade 4.
Sure.
It just wasn't her jam as
Yeah.
much. She's very
Yeah.
musical,
Yeah.
very
Yeah.
motherly.
Yeah.
So kindergarten was great.
Yeah.
But she loved the grade 4 because she's
Right.
like, they're old enough that they're independent.
Yeah.
But they hadn't hit that teenager step yet where you start getting attitude, back talk, doing that. But they were so independent on their own, but they still really listened to you as the adult figure. And there's that real difference.
Sure.
And it was just, that was always her perspective on it and her experience teaching.
Yeah.
And whereas, like, if she was in a high school class, it's like, these kids can show up, they can do everything, you're not babysitting, you're not managing certain aspects, but you're managing different things in the interactions with the kids. Whereas kindergarten, it is not, you just play with kids all day. No, you don't. You're managing all those things. But there's also, you have the parents there all the time. And so I think that, and you need to be there early, because some parent comes early. You can't have a 5-year-old at
On
school,
their
not a
own.
teacher, so you're there early. Some kid is always late anyway.
Yeah.
The parents always want to talk to you. And it's just like, with the grade 4s, the bell rings, they show up, the bell rings, they go home. They're old enough to get on the bus, get on their bike.
Yeah.
used to volunteer.
Yeah.
I mean, that's a loose term. Like,
Sure.
I'd help out in their classrooms
Yeah,
or whatever else
yeah.
back in school.
For sure.
Like, come do PE and teach
Yeah.
math or whatever else.
Yeah.
And so as I get older, you start seeing those things, and then as you grow and have your own kids, you start really understanding what your parents were going through when they're talking about what their
Sure.
experiences are. And
Sure.
yeah, it's just really interesting to then also hear another person's perspective, like yourself, that obviously has an experience in it, good head on your shoulders as far as I know so far.
Well, interesting insight that I just gleaned here. Like I said, part of that pre-brief, I should say, with the kids that I'd work with and their parents, I'd make a beeline for their family context, saying, I would like to understand more about this, and I want to know more about that picture, and I want them to, because they're going to hear about me already, but I want to be at the front of that so that they know there is an agenda here. It's not that I'm just taking and entertaining your kids per se. It's more like I'm also, there's things I'm infusing here in real time, like with my skill set, but I need you to know what my agenda is that way, and I'd like us to be on the same page that way. So I'm going to win their hearts, and that's the language that I use. And then just listening to you speak, it just confirmed, in a sense, that's even what I do with the teenage years as well too. Like that is my aim, is to win hearts. But then I just thought, but that's what I'm doing in general, because even when you're in this marketplace of ideas, you're trying to make a connection with communication. And communication doesn't happen until both sides are like arriving at a similar zone of like, oh, I get what you're saying. I understand what you're saying.
Talking, but more importantly, you're both listening.
Yes.
Right.
Understanding. 100%.
Absolutely.
Yes.
Yeah. And in some way, that exchange has lots to do with, is there a goodwill being extended in this exchange? Is there benefit of the dope being, proposed? Is there, there's just a whole bunch of elements to help ease and lubricate that potential connection, if you will.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
If you don't mind me asking,
Yeah.
were you a teacher? Were you running children's programs?
Both end.
Pardon?
Both end.
Both end.
Yeah. I taught English for many years, and I looked after, I used to attend church once upon a time, and I was looking after training volunteers, putting together policies, and sort of overseeing the whole thing. But that was after years and years of teaching all the way through as well, too, right? So yeah, it was.
All here in Calgary? Or?
No, in BC where I grew up,
Where
and
BC
also
you're
here,
from?
Kamloops is
Yeah,
where I
I'm
eventually
from
settled.
Osiris.
No way!
Yeah,
I know where that is.
I've been to Kamloops. We had good family friends from there, but then I played a lot of hockey, and they were in our league, so I
Okay.
spent a lot of time in Kamloops,
Okay.
actually.
You know the zone there.
Absolutely.
That's amazing.
Now, what I know is
Yes.
kind of where the hockey rinks are.
Of course.
Denny's, Boston Pizza, Sandman's, things like
Yes,
that.
yes.
There's kind of you show
Kelly
up.
O'Brien's maybe downtown.
KOB's,
Yeah.
Kelowna too,
Oh.
absolutely. But we still talk about
Pachos.
Pachos. You tell me what
I
Kelly
haven't
O'Brien's, I'm
heard.
like, it's sort of Boston Pizza's an Irish pub. It's sort of like.
That's a good way to describe it. Absolutely.
Pachos, the food is, it's not Michelin star food by any means.
Yeah.
But Pachos, and it was like a honey mustard. I don't know
Yes,
what that sauce is.
I know the one.
Phenomenal.
It is. Yeah, it was. Yeah.
Is it still open in Kamloops? Do you go back?
I don't know.
Yeah.
I was just there. I was in Merritt actually over the weekend at a festival, and I just briefly stopped in. My mom, I always stop by her grave when I pass through there.
Right.
So I didn't actually take a gander like I usually do, because I'm usually interested. But that's where I liked my time there. I really enjoyed it. However, I've kind of moved on.
Fair enough.
My heart's not there anymore that way. So I didn't, and I wanted to get back here, but I'm not sure.
That's cool.
That's where memories are made.
I always love when you're from BC, where are you from?
Yes.
It's like, I'm from Smithers or up north, maybe
Yeah.
I haven't been there, but
Yeah.
southern interior,
Yeah.
and I know Kamloops isn't it's like it's Thompson, not Okanagan, but it's all kind of the same area.
It
It's
is,
like,
for
like,
sure.
I'm from Peachland, you've never heard of it. I'm like, oh, I know Peachland.
That's awesome. All right, so we got a good 12 minutes here before your destination. One of the things I enjoy doing, I'm not sure if this is my turn off. This is my turn off, I think.
Yep,
No, coach up. No, this takes me up the wrong way. That's okay. I'll make sure we rewire here. That's okay. It's an easy turnaround here. So plausible deniability, close your eyes if you need. Yeah, this is going to take us the other way. That's all right, though.
That's okay. There's a light up ahead that you can probably just turn
Do a
off
Yui?
on.
We can do
Or
that
Yui,
for sure, yeah.
I
We
will
can
let
do
you
that.
make the decision, driver, but yeah, whether it's 3 lefts or...
We will make sure you get there. So I was going to say, one of the fun things I love doing my Uber, I like conversations on a certain theme, which for me is integrity, because for many years I lived without integrity, and it's one of those things I'm like, ooh, I want to make this more of an accessible conversation. So in front of me, I've got my notepad open.
I wanted to ask, but
You're
I
like,
let you go into
tell
the
me
story about it because I was very
more.
curious. But I also
Oh.
didn't want to just read your diary.
That'd be
The
amazing,
writing's really
right?
small for back here.
True enough. So I kind of do this in a fun way where I've got questions from 1 to 20. I don't have an idea which number you can choose. So why don't you choose, Amy, a number between 1 and 20? I'll read the question. If you guys are game.
Yeah.
100. Yes, we are very fun, open people. This is fantastic. Great choice.
70. Oh, I like that he affirmed your number. There's a story behind
No,
there.
she didn't take 60. That's what I want.
Oh. All right. So 16. No, 17. Yes. Is it better to be strict with one's idea of integrity or flexible? And probably a good precursor to even before we jump in is like, how do you feel? Like, what's your feeling or your definition or your idea of what integrity is in the first place?
Is that a question to her or a question to both of us?
Both of you guys.
So I would say integrity involves being honest and sticking to one's morals and beliefs.
Okay.
And being, for the most part, consistent in it. But my answer, of course, is going to be different than my partner here.
Okay, so I would agree with that assessment.
Yeah.
I think it is important to be firm in your belief of what integrity is.
Okay. Like to stay solid on it.
Can I say both?
Both end? Like
Both
flexible.
firm in your belief of what integrity is.
Yeah.
But also flexible in that you're willing to understand or try to understand somebody else's kind of views and opinion on integrity.
So you don't subscribe to a one-size-fits-all integrity?
I do not.
My answer would be not both sides.
Yeah.
I mean, I understand if you look at it as a binary question, you have to pick one, sure. But
I like the
I fall in
nuance
the
though.
middle, but I am significantly closer to the flexible side.
Yeah.
Because as I kind of defined integrity, and I probably could come up with a better definition if I had more time. But
for sure. This is off the fly.
I'm open to the idea. So I have a science background.
Yeah.
I'm a scientist.
Yeah.
So there's always more learning.
Yeah.
What is fact today might not be fact down the road.
I see.
I'm also willing to have my opinions changed. I might feel strongly about something, but I'm willing to listen and hear the other side. And even if I am 100% adamant and I'm right in all this, there's always a slight chance that new knowledge, new information could change my opinion. And I can't think of a specific example.
Can I interject?
Yes.
And new experiences.
There you go.
As you go through life, for example, we're parents now. Totally different idea of what integrity is now.
Right.
From before.
Yeah. So
Intriguing.
I think the flexibility, but it's not all willy-nilly, and that's, of course, I think the answer falls in the middle, but I think being open and flexible is, if I had to go binary on this, is a stronger and better place to be, which sounds super unflexible to say I'm picking one, but in that you might not always be right, the situation can change, time can change you, and something that even though you thought was, you were following your own integrity, if that's the right way of using
that
the
time.
term, but then something else presents itself, which changes the situation, so therefore everything maybe I believed for 38 years is
could
now
shift.
different. So
Gotcha.
What do you think?
Ooh, let me see if I can summarize both of you guys before I give mine, because they were really good. So, Amy, you're saying firm when it comes to personal values, flexible with other people's access points to how they understand, experience it. And you're like flexible with me because I'm process and change. And I think I'm more compelled by that too. So I like the idea of because another follow-up to that question, but let me answer the question first. It's a good question. I think I like the idea of flexibility, again, just because there's a firmness in which in the moment I'm committed to whatever course I'm taking. So my definition would be something like your internal values aligning with your external actions.
Yep.
And so I'm asking, like, for me, more of concern isn't your history of integrity. It's more like, in this present moment, where are you at? What are your intentions as you're engaging with whatever you're thinking or doing, etc. So along those lines, I'm also in a season where I acknowledge, like you were saying, we are a process and change through seasons in life, and we don't have the quorum on like truth per se. It's more like, oh, I've got a better angle now to see what I didn't have access to before, or I have a different approach now that I didn't experience beforehand, for example. And so I like the flexibility card for that reason, because it keeps it an ongoing conversation that's still active. So yeah, that's where I think. But then maybe the follow-up question to that I'm just that just occurred to me is, what are the prerequisites for integrity?
Having values.
Having values and anchor points.
I like that. Yeah,
Like having a conscience.
subscribing to a moral code. Yeah. Whatever that is.
Yes.
And
like
sometimes
that.
not everything's black and white.
Yeah.
That as much as it might damage one's integrity, you can find yourself in a situation where unfortunately you have to pick the lesser of two evils.
True.
Or that's one example.
Yeah.
But,
Yeah.
I'm not going political on this, but
Yeah.
I'm going to use it because it's a really easy and glaring example.
Yeah,
In the
yeah.
United States,
Yeah.
there's basically two people you can vote for president.
Yeah.
And you might not like either of them.
Yeah.
You might,
Yeah.
probably not a good chance people love both today.
Right,
But
right.
you might not like either.
Yeah.
You could choose to abstain to vote.
Yeah.
Which would be one's own opinion.
Yeah.
But let's say you're of the opinion, hey, I have the right to vote in this country that I live in. I know we're in Canada, but I'm
Yeah.
using the US as an example.
Yeah.
It's very black and very
Sure.
binary, I should say.
Sure
black and
enough.
white.
Yeah.
That I believe you should vote.
Yeah.
And you might not agree
Yeah.
with either individual or
Yeah.
either party, because they're very much a two-party system.
Yeah.
But you might find yourself in the lesser of what is the lesser of two evils. So you might have to eat a bit on your integrity because I want
Yeah.
one party or the other. I don't align with a lot, but either one, maybe you're a one issue voter or you're not, but there's more on this side or that side.
That's
And
a really good
I'll leave it at that.
Yeah.
I don't want to go political here.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
and we also know the US.
Well, I do have the answer for all of that, but I'll let them figure it out. Just kidding.
I think we can get them worked. You're not a couple right-wing ladies.
No, I hear your point, though. No, that's really good.
So, I know we're getting close. So
Yes.
Can we move to 16?
Absolutely.
I'm really curious. on
Okay.
16.
16 says, can integrity be measured objectively, or is it subjective? Yeah, or is it judged subjectively? So is integrity measured objectively, or is it more of a subjective feel into it?
I'm going to answer, but are all the questions about integrity? Or
Absolutely. That's the theme that
all 20 questions
It's a
somehow.
theme.
you know, and
no
it's not
problem.
only this one page. I got pages and
That's fair.
pages.
That's-
Yeah.
Oh, wait, I could have picked 99.
Oh yeah, no, yeah. Hey, final query. This one is a bigger ask, but I want, before I even mention this one here, I want to really encourage the no answer, because in my observation of your culture here, no is a really difficult response to give for a lot of people, because they're like, I don't know what you're feeling,
May
or
I
I
ask,
don't.
when you say our culture here, do you mean Amy and I, Calgary in general?
Canadian, North American.
Canadian, North American.
I'm an outsider coming into your culture. I've been here for years, but like I think in terms of
Can
like,
I ask one question?
absolutely, yeah.
Are you any chance from Eritrea?
Ethiopia. But same end,
I
yeah?
have met two Biniams in my life.
Oh,
and they're both,
amazing!
and they're both Eritrean.
Oh.
And I know
Now,
that, like,
Eritrea
it-
used to be a part of Ethiopia once upon a
Yes.
time, but
I didn't know that.
yeah,
I
they gained their independence not
well,
too
and I
long
know,
ago.
know a lot about Africa and
That's
all
okay. Yeah.
and
Brilliant.
I also don't want to be like, hey, everyone named Biniam from Eritrea.
True enough. though.
However,
Yeah.
I know there is, it's small, I believe, in an Eritrean community here. The two individuals that I've met named Biniam. And anyways, that's why I asked.
That's brilliant.
And I also-
That's awesome.
And I could be wrong, but
Yeah.
I associate that name with
Yeah.
that region. A
I
little
see.
bit. And not, I don't mean that
For
in a
good
negative
reason.
way.
Not at all. Not at all. No.
Sorry,
no,
but your
no.
question was?
Question was, so
Culture here.
yeah, before I say it, like I also want to encourage the no answer that's really hardy if it's a no, because consent's a really big thing. What I do when I'm off, when I'm on my own, I love creating content online, especially on this theme of integrity, because I want to reach people who are where I once was, who don't have access to this conversation, and inspire and encourage them towards that end. So
You want
when
to ask if
I
you can share
gain,
this- you want to ask if you can share this video.
if I may, but if yeah.
Everything except that last little bit, because I actually mentioned my friend's name.
Oh, for sure.
So had I not done that, I
Yeah.
would have gone the whole way.
Yeah.
And you can dial back everything from that question because I talk about my business,
Yeah.
my partner, and all that.
Yeah.
Um,
So cut that part out.
Yeah, probably would never become anything.
Absolutely.
But we're building a startup company, and I I'd rather not risk the 0.001% chance that somehow someone gets the wrong opinion. So
And
And
he would not agree with
Oh, I
most
see.
of our opinions on
yeah, so,
these topics.
so I
For
think question
sure,
17,
for sure. Yeah.
go all the way.
Yeah.
I think question 16,
16
maybe
no.
if you don't share that,
I'll cut that
then
whole
I
thing
think
off.
that's fair and even.
Okay, I'm happy to honor that.
Cool, thank you.
My pleasure. And this is a hearty yes from you guys, though. Because again, like going on the internet is not everyone's
Hey,
jam.
this is camera.
It's all good.
I'm shaking your hand
Okay,
on camera. Agreeing.
I appreciate
Thanks,
that.
I appreciate
My
it.
pleasure. I appreciate you
Very
guys
nice to meet
too.
you.
Likewise, it was a lot of fun.
I hope you have a great evening.
I hope you're our ride home, but I also
Yeah.
hope you're in bed by then.
You should be in bed.
You have 3 kids. Don't
Go
worry
to
about
bed.
it.
You guys are sweet. Appreciate you guys.
Cheers, man. Have a great
Okay,
evening.
I will. Thank you.
Keep doing your thing. Drive safe. That was
Enjoy.
excellent.
I enjoyed it as well. It's worthwhile. My pleasure.
Also, I'm a huge bow tie guy too.
Are you?
Yeah.
I tie these out of neckties.
Pardon?
This is a necktie.
I was gonna say it's bigger. I have proper ones, but I know how to tie them myself. So
Me too. I like these ones.
it looks good.
Thank you.
Cheers, man.
See you, brother.